Tonight's podcast is brought to you by this guy.
Max Force 357.
Welcome back once again to this week's Good Ole Gamers podcast. We're actually the Sad Ole Gamers this week.
The Sad Ole Gamers.
This is the Sad Ole Gamers podcast. I'm Sad Lyle McClendon, and here with me today is Sad Brendan Gentry.
Go fuck yourself, David.
Thanks.
And speaking of which, we got two guests with us tonight. We got Bastard David.
Yep, the bitch is here.
You may remember him from working at Vault. He was the guy that you would get sweet deals by calling a bitch.
Nobody really done it.
Huh?
Nobody really done it.
I think one person did, didn't they?
I had two. That was it.
That's even better. So we got David Leslie, former Vault employee, friend with us tonight. We also have back again Mr. Chasen Chandler.
Thanks for having me back.
Indeed. We got a fun little /sad morning episode planned for you tonight.
Yep.
So
a little suicidal.
Yep. Gonna get out that Schlossberg here.
Yeah.
At the end of the evening.
Spent most of the morning with a NES sapper cord around my neck, giving myself the old autoerotic asphyxiation in the shower to get through the day.
Kung fu from the closet, huh?
Yep. I always start off all my mornings.
Well, you know, the news is pretty fucking depressing usually. So we're gonna start off with some news.
3 planes crashed today, and your mother was on all of them.
14 people killed in the streets of Libya for no reason.
They were all your mother.
Bummer. That's not even funny.
That probably happened.
Yep, sorry.
Damn.
It's Konami's fault.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Konami. Kick it off with a little news anyways. The one thing I wanted to say off bat, you know, I said the other night about Nintendo had announced had a codenamed HM or some shit, handheld.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty much like not something they're working on, they announced, but just like a future patent for accessories to the NX down the road.
Oh, boy.
I read that.
More gimmicks.
More gimmicks.
There always is.
Pretty quick to just kind of say, oh, you know, we do this every once in a while. It shows up in the patent office and, you know, things don't happen. It's just something we try and get a hold of legally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Patents come and go, but they never come public a lot of the time, so.
I wish they'd just quit the gimmick shit. Just make a good console.
I just wish they would reveal something and stop just blowing all kinds of smoke at
I
this
wish
point.
they would do something with their patent on virtual insanity that they took from in Eternal Darkness. You know, I wish they would utilize that more because it was just in that one game. I would like to see some more, you know, crazy screw with your TV stuff like in that game.
Eternal Darkness is a game that me and Bill has urged me and Brandon to play, and neither one of it, or I haven't, you have, haven't you?
I emulated a little bit, but playing GameCube games with the Xbox 360 controller on PCs, that ain't the same.
I have a sealed copy of Eternal Darkness. If you guys have never played that, I'll crack it open and
No,
let you all
I ain't
borrow
gonna
it.
let you crack open a
Don't
sealed
break
copy.
a seal.
No.
I only paid $30 for it.
That's
It's
like
not that
poking
big a
holes
deal.
in a condom, man.
Just asking for it.
You just don't do it.
I mean, it just depends. If you're dating a supermodel, you don't want to go nowhere.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's like, I don't know what the fuck happened.
I've smoked so much crack, I thought I was shooting blanks. Sorry. Anyways, what you got, Brando?
At E3, Nintendo's having a hands-on demo of the new Zelda game.
I seen that as well.
Users get 90 minutes alone with it.
Damn.
Yeah.
They would have a real sticky controller.
Yeah.
Come walking out of there like.
How long do you think this is going to keep going? And what I mean is, it seems to be the industry belief that E3 is unnecessary thanks to the internet in general, and Nintendo does the Nintendo Direct thing on their consoles. Nintendo's no longer renting out that giant ass theater for their own press conference. Do you think they're going to keep doing this much longer?
I think they will always keep a somewhat of an E3 presence, but for the most part, it's right. Like E3 is just the way to advertise shit. Now the internet advertises shit to you when you're not even on there.
Well, E3 was a big deal, of course, before the internet. I mean, that's what we're getting at. But actually remembering finding out your information in magazines, like a month after the fucking news dropped, just because that's how limited you were to get your information. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Nintendo's going to have to pull some big tricks out of the fucking bag this go around.
They've kind of worked themselves into the pickle over the last decade because they've let Xbox and PS4 or PlayStation become like the normal beefy console.
The standard.
So they're like, well, we could do another console similar in power to them, but that market's pretty well flooded. So now they're having to work these gimmicks, and they just got to get the right gimmick.
I think it's they have people like, say, with the PlayStation 4, you had that guy who made Unraveled come out there and do a really awkward, but it was awkward in a good way, a personalized introduction to his project Unraveled, and he did it so heartfelt because it was really personal to him to make that game.
Yeah.
But then when Nintendo comes out there, it's kind of corporate. They don't look like gamers. It's just like people in a business polo and khakis and stuff, and we've seen the Wii Music debacle of 2008, and they don't look like gamers. Do you think that might have something to do with it? That it doesn't look like somebody who plays the game out there. It looks like a company representative or something that goes out there.
That's pretty much.
You think the corporate presence is a little non-personal, non-gamer?
I think, because Nintendo's corporate presence has been one thing that's kind of fucking shunned them to the point they're at. Mm-hmm. Nintendo's a bitch to work for if you're a developer, pretty much. And,
I know their copyright policies with videos has not done them any favors.
No, because they're already even talking about wanting to lay copyright claim to the fucking Minecraft, Super Mario Edition Minecraft on Wii U, trying to keep people from posting fucking YouTube videos and then playing that and shit.
Considering starting a YouTube show, the fact that I'm, considering not doing any Nintendo titles really scares me because they're such a strong presence in the game community. They always have been. They're legends. They have great games.
Nintendo chances are any gamer you meet that is especially catered to retro, NES is and SNES, that's somewhere in the foundation.
To be fair, you can do that weird deal thing on YouTube where they get a cut of your video if it's a Nintendo thing. But just because I'm really happy to play Mario Kart 8 on my Wii U and want to show people on my YouTube channel that, doesn't mean that I'm going to go through with that because it's just kind of it's a paperwork headache, to give them a profit. It's not that I don't want to give them a share of their money because even if they're asking for that, that's not too big of a deal. But to go through the headache of processing through all that, I think that that scares away a lot of YouTube.
It's the fact that you're also essentially doing free advertising for them,
right?
And they're trying to charge you for it, basically.
I'm not there to bash Mario Kart 8. It's a fantastic game. So shouldn't they lax on that? It's not like I'm saying, oh, here's Mario Party 10, and then I just, start ripping into it because it's Mario Party 10. It's, I would understand that, I'm giving a positive review.
It's a really archaic and draconian business model, because
their business model is the same shit they had in the late fucking 80s when they were a powerhouse. And Nintendo just cannot admit the fact that they're not the dominant top dog.
Yeah,
and I hate to say it because Nintendo's got a.
That's the shitty.
That's
thing.
one
they
thing.
Really could be.
I'm kind of the new president of Nintendo. I kind of have a little hope for this guy, just a little bit, because he's already stated, we got to go back to what the gamers want, and it's one thing to build a fucking family-oriented console like the Wii for families, and it's one thing to have a gaming console, that you got mature titles on. You don't have tons of shovelware and shit on, and that's just one thing they've got to admit. Like,
I mean,
you got to cater to the crowd.
Yeah, they made Eternal Darkness again, and Bayonetta 2 is super popular and definitely M-rated. It's, mildly sexual and super violent. And
I just feel the Wii U as a whole, the Wii U has been mishandled, because the Wii U is a fantastic piece of hardware, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love the Wii U.
Awesome, even third-party games with Ubisoft's... I get it's a little divided, but it's still a good game in my opinion, and according to the ratings, it's a little above average. Zombie
U, for like a $5 game, you can't beat it.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
It's old Street Fighter 2 mystery's been solved, or rather,
I've seen some about this.
Today.
Not so much solved as it is Capcom has decided.
It's the dude punching the other guy at the beginning of the game.
The intro screen to. I don't think it was on the Super Nintendo version. It was on the Genesis version of Street Fighter 2 Championship
Edition.
But in the arcades, of course, you saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's a black guy and a white guy fighting, and they are...
and, of course, the black guy gets punched in the face.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Way to
win.
go, Capcom.
Yeah.
It's Max and Scott, respectively, the black and white guy.
Max and Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott. Okay, I knew that.
And they got some backgrounds that you can dig up. I didn't care enough to bring them in, because... from what I saw, it's rumored that it's very unlikely to see them as actual playable characters in the future, but they might make it into the story. I think it's just really Capcom that's looking for some free press, but like, hey, let's just give these douchebags some background. And
I'm one of those giant nerds that actually knows the complete mythology of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter when it's just supposed to be like, fuck the story, fight, beat your friends in the face on their couch with another controller. I actually know the full story of all the games for Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat because I love them so much. That being said, who the fuck are Max and Scott?
Dude, it's probably
I'm glad they have names. I'm glad that they're like characters instead of just an intro screen, but Max and Scott?
It's probably some attempt. Now Capcom's going to announce next week. They'll be like, break out your Sega X bands and your 28.8 modem.
Is that going to
We got DLC coming for Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. It's retro DLC. You can now download Max and Scott for $25.
Are they going to work them into Street Fighter 5 or something? Like for another patch update? Because they're adding characters and shit to that because it had such a bad release.
It said it's unlikely that there'll be anything real, like any DLC characters. But that's just rumors, so it could be wrong.
Well, maybe they'll go through now and start giving all the people in the backgrounds names. Like
that's what I was going to say. Like
that one guy in the Blanca level when Blanca wins, he's got that fucking crate, and he just goes, lifts it straight up.
If they're going to go that way, I want to know the story behind that giant snake on the tree in Blanca's level. What is the deal with that? It is intimidating looking. He looks like I'd have more of a time fighting him than Blanca.
Yeah. Whoa. Give the anaconda in the tree's name's Ice Cube, respectively.
Yes.
After the greatest anaconda movie ever made.
I want to know what the NPC owner of the car you beat up, what they did to piss off the player.
Shit. That was a Shadaloo car.
I always loved the two background characters in Street Fighter 2. In the Guile level, where the guy's sitting on that crate and he looks like he's jerking off.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, good. And the guy in Zangief's level where he's just like throwing back that bottle of presumably vodka. He's just like the Zangief's like sticking some dude's face between his thighs, and he's like, I don't care. Whoa, I'm drinking over here.
You hearing this shit, Zangief? That's all you're fucking good for. A rough time.
I want to know why that guy's like, he's come to a point in his life where he's not even interested in this giant street fight in what looks like a steel mill or something in the USSR. He's just like, I can't be bothered to watch two dudes duke it out in my workplace. I'm just going to be drinking in my workplace. This giant bottle of vodka.
They encourage that in Russia.
Oh yeah,
production.
This is how you earn Employee of the Month.
Production is up when you swig back a bottle of vodka.
He must have been guarding something important. The old saying is they guarded potato shacks more than they guarded the nuclear reactor fuel.
I guess all you Street Fighter nerds out there are going to have to look for Scott and Max through all those Udon manga novels and stuff like that and see if you can spot them in there.
It's going to be like, where's Waldo, Street Fighter Edition?
Yeah. Where's Max and Scott?
So which one's Scott and Max?
Max is a black guy.
Okay.
Scott's white. Cool.
All right.
It's good to know. Thank you, Capcom.
Yeah.
Now, if you can only make a decent game, we might give a fuck more about your characters. Make a good Mega Man game if you're listening, please.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. Keiji Inafune is out. Mighty Number 9 now.
And how people are pissed off about that.
Yeah.
As somebody who's part of that Kickstarter, whose name is in the credits of that game, and who's beta tested that game on Steam a while, to see that trailer, that is indeed not what we were promised. I'm not as angry as everybody else, but I can say they are right to say that is a complete change from what we've been seeing and playing. That is not what we've been playing. I think it'll be okay, but yeah, not what we're promised.
Let's see. Our returning guest, Steve Steverson, he will like this news. Actually, Steve, it's going to be a little too late by the time you hear it. If you sign up for the Pokemon Trainer Club by June 1st, you get a few free Mew. But since this is going to be published June 2nd, sucks to be you, Steve.
Pokeball.
I'm sorry, Steve. He's probably sad as fuck right now. Or he will be. He's actually not sad at all right now.
But he will be. That's what matters.
Yeah.
All right. News bit. I have 2 or 3 good ones. Let's give a quick shout out before I get into my news segments today is the 1-year anniversary of the film Kung Fury.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Kung
shit.
Fury is awesome.
It's been that long.
It's 1 year today.
Nice.
And if you guys somehow still have not seen that it's free on YouTube and it's only 30 minutes of your time. Go watch
What
that.
the fuck
it's
are you
amazing.
doing with your life?
Yeah.
Watch it once and then watch it again while masturbating.
Yeah.
Or masturbate during both. I don't care. Just as long as you get that in there.
If you masturbate at midnight while watching Kung Fury, you too will be struck by lightning and bitten by a cobra.
Yeah.
I can only hope. Start experimenting tonight.
For the 3 news bits I got, the World of Warcraft movie has a stunning 40% at the moment on Rotten Tomatoes.
No fucking kidding.
Yeah, somehow I think it's poised to sell 30 million or something like that.
What was its
Budget of
Budget,
fucking 80.
I don't recall.
Yeah.
Or maybe it opened with 30. I'm not sure. I remember it was kind of surprising with the numbers it was getting.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I know why, because all the fucking assholes that play that shit, they're going out to buy anything with that fucking World of Warcraft's name on it.
I don't care if it's a shitty movie. I want to know if it's faithful to the original Warcraft or if they just stuck a bunch of World of Warcraft crap in it to capitalize on the popularity of what most people know of Warcraft. Kind of like how Doom was supposed to be based off the original Doom, but it had a lot of Doom 3 elements in it because that was the popular game at the time.
Yeah.
So because World of Warcraft's popular, I wonder if this is indeed a Warcraft movie or if it's a World of Warcraft pseudo-Warcraft movie.
$25 million for U.S. opening and projected $30 million for overseas opening.
Okay.
And that's not good.
No,
usually,
not at all.
even a bomb movie usually that releases in U.S. has more success usually internationally.
When a studio sees the box office tank, then they just kind of pray for DVD sales. So they better start releasing some collector's Blu-rays.
Oh yeah,
crap,
they'll have
to recoup the
collector's
cost.
Blu-ray with all the World of Warcraft expansions and some figures and bullshit.
Oh fuck yeah! They'll do
They
some
better.
kind of bullshit.
They're gonna suffer a huge financial loss. I'm not surprised.
I'm glad.
This is crap. I'm not surprised.
This is. Let me ask a question. Who was the studio that made Warcraft?
Oh, I
don't know.
have
Someone
no
shitty.
idea of what company made this movie.
I want to say it's a company I like.
Boner Factor?
I think it's Legendary.
Now
made
Boner
it.
Factory made Horcraft.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And
Warcraft.
Ghostbusters. Anyways, the reason I was trying to find out who made the Warcraft movies, I was hoping to fuck the company that's making Ghostbusters made Warcraft, so I could just shit on both of them at the same time.
You know, I have a good relationship with Boner Factory Films, and I have a cameo in the new Ghostbusters film. I'm Slimer's brother, Splooger.
All over Melissa McCarthy. All over.
Now, I don't have any speaking roles per se, but I spent a lot of time in that recording booth just kind of go... you know?
They gave me $20 and told me to slap my meat around.
Yep.
As a stunt cock.
It's about the story of it.
That would be
awesome.
the greatest. Are you a stunt man? Even better, I'm a stunt cock. The actor's too afraid to put his cock on camera.
I love that that's a real
Stunting
thing.
it.
That's
Yeah.
an occupation in real life.
Yeah.
Now I know I'm living.
Body doubles, man.
I really wish it was more like how you would picture it in your mind. Like, you think it'd be like a stuntman, like they set your dick on fire and stuff. That'd be way more entertaining.
Damn, what kind of porno was that?
I don't know. It needs to happen.
It's just like your dick on this side, the explosion happens. Like, ooh. It just goes to the other side. It's that fucking shitty Michael Bay bass drop.
Oh, I got to make that happen. I'm gonna go put myself in the industry now. Put in my resume. My name is gonna be Tommy Salami. Look me up on Twitter. Other thing I had news is Shadow of the Eternals, the spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness, is according to Dennis Dyack, actually still in development. Even though their Kickstarter, he pulled it because he claimed to have gotten financing elsewhere. Didn't any Kickstarter anymore, which disappointed some Kickstarter fans, such as Noah Antwiler, the Spoonie one from the Spoonie Experiment, and of many others. He's just the notable one that comes to my mind at the moment. I myself am an Eternal Darkness fan, like I discussed at the beginning of the podcast. So to see this back in development kind of gives me hope, but I hope he's not jerking me off, because this is Dennis Dyack we're talking about. His company went under, especially with maybe with the lawsuit of stealing propriety parts of the engine code with the Unreal Engine for X-Men Destiny and a couple other games that they had to pull from the retail market because it was part of the lawsuit that they had that code within the game. And because he's Dennis Dyack, he made a lot of promises with, what was that game that came out for the 360? It was an RPG. It was kind of cyberpunk, but it had a lot of Norse mythology in it. It started with a T.
David, you work in the game store. You should know this.
It's
Or
got
you worked.
Work, guys.
This is why you no longer work.
It's got the cover of the game has
What
a.
an asshole.
I'm playing.
I don't care.
The cover of the game has a guy's face in shadow, and he has like blue Tron lines glowing in his face and stuff. It was a total disappointment, kind of like Duke Nukem Forever, development hell forever, and
That
it
game was
just
shit.
totally disappointed. And I can't remember the name of the game. Starts with a T right now. Anyways, look up Dennis Dyack, and you'll on Wikipedia or something,
I
and
think
you'll
I
see
know
what
what
game
you're
that is.
talking about.
Yeah.
It's
On the
that,
tip of my brain.
it's that game. I know everyone knows that game.
Well, whatever the name of the game is, it was a complete disappointment, and I'm afraid that he's going to make more promises that write checks that his ass can't cash with Shadow of the Eternals, because we got a lot more fan base behind this because Eternal Darkness was wonderful. So he's got a lot riding on him.
I really gotta play Eternal Darkness.
I just missed that whole GameCube
must.
train.
You must.
I did too.
There was a lot of good games on GameCube.
I was riding the Dreamcast train into Oblivion when the GameCube was out.
The GameCube had a few exclusive titles that make the console worth buying. Let me tell you.
Brandon is really just like, oh, this looks cool. Fuck it.
Mario Kart
Two
Double
Human?
Dash. Two Human. That's it. Yeah, Two Human was a 10-year development. It was supposed to be a PS2 launch title.
He was with
And it came out in
Silicon
the
Knights.
360. Yes. Silicon Knights
So-
is the company that went under thanks
He
to
was,
the X-Men Destiny lawsuit.
That sucks.
With
The
Unreal
Silicon
Engine.
Knights were they were behind Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes on GameCube,
Yes.
which is one of the greatest remakes of all time.
Yes.
in my opinion.
Next to Resident Evil or something.
Yeah,
I don't think
I agree
anything
with
else
that.
could closely match Twin Snakes. But of course, there's other controversies plaguing the company with one of the big wigs being involved with having child porn in his possession.
Oh goddamn!
Man, who doesn't?
It was not Dennis Dyack. Jesus Christ. And this is the last podcast we're
That
doing
was
tonight.
the final episode, folks. That's why
Yes.
we're sad. Bye.
This is why I was on here. The last one.
Yeah, you're a patty.
Yeah. David's the one that actually said that just then. You sick fuck.
You had a copy of the Guy game, didn't you?
The guy game.
That's
them
child
motherfuckers-
porn, right?
Those motherfuckers got some trouble over that shit.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for them because it's not their fault. Girl
You know,
had a
it
fake
was
ID.
really
bad.
bad. I
It's
had a
like
copy
fucking
of that game, and I got rid of it.
I
Now it's
did
like
too. I'm scared to own
$150
it.
game.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. It's worth that.
It's worth a lot. I mean, it's one of the few games that shows live action nudity instead of pixelated crap.
Good God.
That 21-year-old turned out to be a 17-year-old because she was at the bar with a fake license because she wanted a drink.
You have a child porn game if you have that.
Yep.
Technically,
If you have the guy game, burn it.
I have Shower with Your Dad Simulator. That's almost there. That's a great game.
I almost downloaded that the other day. I did see it passing through.
What was that game from Game Jam where it had Minecraft graphics, but you were first-person shooting blue towels at... Whoa.
My dog is upset. Hold on.
What's we at?
We were just talking. We were
wrap up news.
Yeah. We had to pause for a minute because my dog wants to make sweet love to Brandon.
Yeah.
Anyways, the game I was talking about from Game Jam, look it up on YouTube. You're Minecraft graphics, first-person shooter, but you're shooting towels at a bunch of naked guys in a locker room. And you're trying to put towels on them because they're chasing you, like horde mode or something, like zombies or something. I don't know what they're going to do to you. I really don't want to know what they're going to do to you, but you can give them towel off so they'll leave you the fuck alone.
They're going to dong that face up pretty good.
Markiplier played it, so I'm sure it'll be easy to find in YouTube search if you look for it.
Nice.
Last thing I had for my news personally is
I think you might have lost the sweet spot on your mic. It sounds a little...
This is better.
There you go.
Yeah.
Baby.
Get in the G spot again.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, as this one's not really news, but it's something I wanted to bring up because PS4 has been putting PS2 games for a little while now on the PS4's digital downloads on the PlayStation Network. So, no big news, and I'm sure there's not a lot of fans for it, but it's one of my top 5 underrated games that I cannot keep. I couldn't promote more. I love the shit out of it. There's a handful of underrated games that I always tell retro gamers about that they need to play. And one of them is Kinetica, which was a launch title and very much a tech demo for PS2. Well, that just came onto the marketplace on PS4 this week or last week. And so yeah, it's not actually a news story, but my God, Kinetica's on PS4 now. You don't have to hunt down a PS2. Please play it. This game is amazing. It's one of those futuristic racers that isn't a ripoff of Wipeout or F-Zero. It's completely original. You are like all these... You're actually like sexy chicks, like hot rod girls and stuff like that. Like you've got the leather, booty shorts like I like to wear to the podcast.
It's always a sexy time around here.
We may have to bring that up on episode 69. We're going to do a sexy episode for that one.
Think we're going to have to get video for that one.
Yeah, we are.
Check us out.
Squishy old gamers.
Anyways, it's, like
good old
like girls you would see in Hot Rod Magazine. And they put on these suits, I guess like Iron Man or something, but it turns them into like half human, half motorcycle. Their boots and their gloves have wheels on them. And because they're limber, sexy women, and they can do stunts with their gymnastic and yoga poses to do handstands and stuff while they're flying down the track at like, a jillion kilometers an hour, like F-Zero machines, or because that's what they refer to them as in the game as machines instead of cars or hovercrafts. They call them machines if you ever play F-Zero. But, so they're wearing these motorcycle suits, all these sexy girls, and like in F-Zero GX, they're riding up the side of skyscrapers and through loop-de-loops and corkscrews and inside tubes and at the outside of tubes and up ramps. Like, they even have this one track that's kind of like a space station on the outside of the orbit of Earth. But a lot of it is on Earth. It's just super futuristic, and I just thought that was pretty cool that to gain speed boosts instead of hitting a speed jump or ramp or something like that in the game, you could just do a handstand or a flip or a cartwheel or like do this yoga pose and stuff, but like have two boots and one of your hands wheels on the ground to gain speed. It's really cool. Since it came out in I believe 2000 or 2001, it's got a lot of that late 90s techno in it. Amoeba Assassin, Meeker, Juno Reactor from Juno Reactor's famous for people that weren't into the 90s nightclub scene with all the raves and stuff for a lot of movie soundtracks, most notably all the Matrix films Juno Reactor did music for. So it's got a fan-fucking-tastic soundtrack, and the speed is unmatched. If you're a real fan of Wipeout or F-Zero, you got to play Connecticut. And now you don't have to hunt down a retro copy off eBay. You can get it on PS4 as a very cheap download. I believe it's either, it's $10, $9.99.
Nice.
And it's got trophies in it and stuff for all you trophy and achievement hunters. So play it. It's fantastic racing, good sense of speed, cool tracks, very futuristic. Like I said, that nice thumping soundtrack. You can't be disappointed.
Nice.
So, I was just happy to see that while I was on my PS4 lately, so I had to plug that. It's a good retro game. So
Hell yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Connecticut is amazing.
That wraps us up for news.
I do believe so.
Well, now, since I'm not doing I am technically, it's Arcade Arcana. Comes part 3 of the road to Southern Fried Game Room Expo
Looking forward to it.
2016. I figured since we've already covered about the event, and we last week we went over the schedule pretty much, we could just talk this evening about our expectations and what we hope happens this year, and reflect on last year's Southern Fried Game Room Expo a bit. If you'd like to hear more, you should listen to the Scootning.
Yeah. Well, I expect there to be arcade games there. I hope there's going to be arcade games there. And last year there was arcade games there, so that's all I need.
I hope Pachinko has taken over this year.
Oh, yeah. Konami's Silent Hill Pachinko.
I'm most excited. I think one of the things I'm super excited for, I'm definitely getting in on that Ghostbusters one-ball pinball tournament. I don't give a fuck if I drop the ball after like 3 or 4 flips.
Incoming.
That's a bag. That's a bag of Taco Bell.
All right.
Thank you. Keep watch our crazy dog and make him leave us alone. But anywho, sorry, I can edit all that out.
I don't care.
It don't matter. Anyways, Sky Curse is going to be there.
Oh, big fan.
That's I'm pretty excited about that.
Look up Sky Cursor on Facebook.
They're having Stern's bringing a bunch of new pinball machines this year too.
Really?
I really hope Billy's going to be back. Billy Mitchell.
That's one thing I'm hoping for.
It doesn't list it, so I doubt he's going to be there. They'd put that on the website if he was. But I really just, I want to go get some tips from him on Burger Time.
I love Burger Time so much, and all its sequels: Super Burger Time Deluxe, Peter Pepper's Ice Cream Factory.
One of the most amazing moments
great.
for me and Brandon last year was, we did meet. In one of the cool things, we've actually become friends pretty much with Joel West. Like, he likes what we're doing, and he always, if we ever need him for anything, he's always got a minute. And we were in shock and awe. Of course, because it's Billy fucking Mitchell.
Right.
And that whole thing proceeds around him where you're just like, oh, it's Billy Mitchell. He's a dickhead.
Billy Mitchell.
He is one of the coolest people that we met, but it was kind of surreal. Me and Brandon were just, pretty much bullshitting with him, talking. And they had a little Cabaret Pac-Man machine next to the hot sauce table.
Nice.
And he just started showing me and Brandon all these.
He brought us hot sauce?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Brandon,
that's cool.
We ate some hot sauce.
Oh, you got a signed bottle?
I do.
You do?
Brandon did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got Walter Day and Billy Mitchell to sign it. I just need to get Steve Weeby on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I got him to
really
sign
cool.
my King of Kong poster. I didn't, but I ate some hot sauce. Brandon bought a bottle to get signed and a bottle to eat. And
hot sauce was good.
We drowned some motherfucking
Yeah, I
pizza.
hear it is. Billy knows what he's doing there.
But
Look,
it's
that-
just really weird having him show you tips on Pac-Man, like showing you the trick where you can park Pac-Man in the corner, and he's like, you can walk away for 2 days and come back, and those ghosts won't
I
touch
learned
you.
that from him. I never met the
That's
man himself, but I saw that
amazing.
on the internet. Yeah.
Just having somebody of that caliber tell you shit is kind of, it's a little bit mind-blowing.
If you guys haven't figured out, or if you're listening to the podcast for the first time, or you haven't really noticed on the internet, as amazing as the King of Kong is, A Fistful of Quarters, the documentary, he's not the villain that he is. In that
he can
Brandon
he's a
sums
really
it up
good guy.
perfectly with
He's a great guy.
his analogy.
He's got a pro wrestler persona.
Perfect.
Exactly. He did kind of play a heel for that documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's going with it. He's marketing it. He knows how to, it makes him a buck, and I can't blame him for that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a dick to you.
No.
He just has that.
If you guys still think that because of that documentary, like you're a little behind. Get with the program. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. He's. You can tell he's extremely confident, and I don't blame him. But he's just got
skills
I would
like
be
that.
too
You
if I
got
had
the room
a
to back it
record
up.
for the first perfect Pac-Man game.
Yeah, he's just got that aura about him. Like, you don't
He's a
fuck with this
badass
guy.
gamer.
Yeah, and it helps that he's like 6'5" or some shit.
Yeah, he's a
Damn.
very very tall
man.
guy. But also, he really is successful with his restaurant and the hot sauce and stuff.
Yeah.
So, his business persona outside of gaming, he's still got reason to boast and beat his chest. So
Well, that was one
You know?
cool thing about it because, we sit and talked with him for about 30 minutes at one point, and we were talking to him about, it's cool that you're not the dick everybody says you are, pretty much. And we proceeded to tell him because last year's Southern Fried Expo, that week, we got our first hate mail ever.
Yeah,
From Jizz Wizard,
Blizz Kid 1998.
whatever.
wait, the podcast guy?
Yeah,
Yeah, we got
Really?
hate mail from this guy. That was
it's a couple episodes after I shit talked World of Warcraft. We
And
got
this is a
email
World of
from
Warcraft
a kid.
fan.
Email's name was like Blizz Kid 1998.
Oh, so he was a fan of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and he ripped into me and Brandon really hard. It was hilarious. That's where the scooting come about at, because he pretty much said if he seen our fat asses on the fat people's scooter at Walmart, he was going to push us off and shit.
That's the funniest threat ever.
It just all come together and culminated to that. But we were telling Billy Mitchell about, we received our first hate mail, and this is what it entailed. And he pretty much was like, shook our hands and was like, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
He was like, when you're
Yeah.
pissing people off, that means they're taking notice, and you're doing something right.
Look, Warcraft fans. I mean, yeah, the game's great. It's not my type of game. I don't like to play Warcraft. But you guys, from what I've heard of Warcraft or World of Warcraft, it's not what it used to be. That's why they had that fan server that recently got shut down and stuff, because they've updated it to the point where a lot of old school fans don't like it anymore. And that's all I know about World of Warcraft, because it's not my bag.
I know it. I mean, I'm not like super
I
familiar.
know you
with
hear this noise a lot.
I've played MMOs since Ultima
like
Online.
Diablo all over again.
So I like MMOs, but World of Warcraft, I try to get into it because when World of Warcraft was new, like all my friends who I played games with were like, we're playing World of Warcraft now. You play with us. So I bought the game. I played like 2 months. I've tried to like it so hard, but I could not.
Because it's super popular.
And then-
You don't want to be if you're such a good gamer, you don't want to be the one who's not playing the popular game. So you give it a try, and you kind of feel like a bastard for not liking something that's popular sometimes.
And then the first
Yeah.
expansion came out. Like I quit 2 months into it. Then years later, the first expansion came out, the Burning Crusade, I think. My friends
Yeah,
were like, "It's
yeah.
way better. It's way better. Come back and try it." So I got the expansion, came back and tried it. But then the first week, I was like, "No, this game sucks." And then that happened again with later expansions. I'm like, dude, unless when I get to the end level of this. Or the in-game World of Warcraft, and it uninstalls itself and installs a good game, I'm not going to like this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just because I started with Ultima Online, and that's like the ultimate sandbox game.
Yeah.
Because I could, in Ultima Online, you could be a guard for your own player-run cities, or you could be an asshole PKer going around and killing people. You can go on treasure hunts. You can do fucking whatever you
You can
want.
be a fucking drunkard. And
Yeah,
just lay around.
You can, or
Yeah.
you could be an asshole and go into town and poison some bread and lay it on the ground, and watch some noob eat it, and follow them and loot their body when they die from the poison.
the fucking best. That right there is why you need to buy
That
the
sounded
game.
like somebody's done that before.
Maybe you could maybe follow somebody into their house and stab them and take the key and then take everything they own. I mean, not that I've done any.
Assume their identity, if you will.
To get off into a side tangent, but stay on topic at the same time. I have, since I'm a serious gamer in my own personal belief, I try and play all types of games. But we all of us gamers, we try and we try and play all types of games, but we just have those genres that we stick to. We like certain types of games, and for me, the MMO thing was never my thing. The only one I ever got into, which has since been shut down, is The Matrix Online, and the only reason I got into that was because I was a Matrix fan, not because I was.
Do you know
an
what
MMO
server you
fan.
played on?
No, that was a very long time ago. That was a very long time ago.
Brandon has very.
I was there for that final day where they gave godlike powers to everybody, and everything went to chaos.
You fought all the agents.
Yeah.
Hell, you go to my computer room right now. I got the map of the Matrix Online on the wall in the first Matrix Online magazine and shit. But I love that game a lot.
I did too.
I was a machinist in that game. I was in the guild, the collective. I don't know if you call them. They're the biggest machinist guild, but we were on Recursion.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's a great game.
Yeah, I liked it when it lasted.
Yeah, the first 3 months, anyhow. Like after Sony bought it.
Yeah, I was fixing to say that was the game you told me that Sony shit all over, wasn't it?
Well, they didn't do anything with it, which is the problem.
Yeah,
they put it on life support immediately because I think they got it in some big license deal. And they're like, well, fuck this game. It's struggling, so...
So, staying with, the theme of things that I was talking about, what is a game or a genre, if you can't think of a game that, like a lot of people loved, that you just couldn't get into, even though you're like... I know you all are serious gamers, you don't just play one thing. What was a popular game that everybody loves, it's legendary within the gaming community, that you just do not like?
Oh shit!
For me personally, to get the ball rolling, it's Final Fantasy VII. I don't like that game, even though it's one of the best games of all time, so to speak.
I liked it, but I just don't like gush that game about at all.
I
don't know.
I was pretty big in that.
Is there
anything
popular that you guys just like? What the fuck's everybody talking about?
I kind of got to go with you on that
Final
because
Fantasy?
I fucking hate all of them.
Oh yeah.
Like every damn one.
Do you like RPGs in general, or
some? It just depends. Like the Final Fantasy series, I could never get into, and one of my buddies listening to this is probably gonna be like, "Fuck you, David."
Well, as much as I don't like Final Fantasy VII, I actually do agree with everybody that it is probably the best. But you're right. Like for me personally, Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy X and X-2 are awful. I can't see why Final Fantasy fans call those. Like
I don't like those either.
Like even if you're a Final Fantasy fan, I have to believe that you guys you think that they're shit.
The shitty card system in 8, and then
the fucking water ball game.
Yes, I was going to say exactly
that's called,
that.
The water polo thing.
Yeah, in 10,
Titus, that's the character's name. He plays that water.
I played it up until you got the guy on your team who was like the soccer or the volleyball player, dude, and that's like what he used in battle.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck this. I quit after that.
I was gonna say the guy with the weird hair, and then I realized they all have fucking.
And he's
hair.
a total dude. He's a total dude, bro. He's like, what's up, bro?
Yeah,
I play volleyball, bro.
Yeah, and you're right. In battle, he's the one guy that uses that fucking ball as his weapon, and I'm like, what the fuck, Final Fantasy? I'm done. And I can't play those games. I do not like Final Fantasy.
I fell in love with 7 first, and it was my favorite. It introduced me to Final Fantasy, but I like 6 better. 6 was way better.
Which is 3 on NES.
Yeah.
Or SNES.
Yeah, I gotta say the Super Nintendo Final Fantasies are the best, even though I don't like Final
The
Fantasy.
one game that I knew, the one that just sticks out in my mind right offhand, like the one game that I know a bunch of people liked when it came out that I just, still this day, do not like, Banjo-Kazooie.
Really?
I do not like any of the Banjo-Kazooie games whatsoever.
It's
I don't know why,
difficult.
but, I mean, it's...
Is that...
I didn't have... not that it's a bad game. I didn't have that much fun playing it personally.
Yeah. Okay.
Back on the road though to Southern Fried Game Room.
Yeah, like I said, got off on a
tangent. We had a pit stop there.
It's fine. We'll say it with this. What do you look forward to the most, other than the fact that we're going to play arcade games for an entire fucking weekend?
Being drunk for an entire weekend.
Me too.
Not working. I'm gonna have 4 days off. This is the longest I've been off work in a long fucking time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be off that Friday and Monday too. I'm pretty excited.
Like I said before, I did take 2 days off to move, but that wasn't 2 days took off in leisure.
No,
that's not
working.
a vacation.
I would have rather been at work.
Well, we'll just leave it at that then.
All right.
So, I guess we should get on to our
games of the week.
Do you want to do that, or do you want to do the?
Oh yeah, let's do
the in memoriam.
Yeah, let's do that.
Absolutely.
I got some music. I'm gonna. Oh well. Okay, that works. We're here to to remember Vault games.
I was expecting some more like Kenny Chesney exploitation of feelings.
All I did was go
God,
to
no.
YouTube. I just went to YouTube and typed in funeral music.
I was waiting for like taps or something to start
Where were
playing.
you when Vault stopped trade-ins?
That terrible May Day.
Oh, Vault.
It
games.
sucks.
It
We
does.
miss Vault.
Yeah.
And
Awesome story.
I'm going to turn this down just a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's... Fuck that. It sucks. Vault's done.
Yeah.
We got David with us, of course, and we feel like you should have been here for this. David called Mark earlier. Mark may do a call in. We pretty much want to just take a minute though and just say pretty much thanks to Mark and Lynne Covington.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
They supported us a lot. They've been a big deal to Good Old Gamers since we got started. They've always advertised our shit. Never had a problem with us putting our business cards in there. They told people about us, and hope people ended up heard about Vault through us. So it worked out on both ends, and we're really, really thankful. Mark and them, they were a big deal for Game Fest last year. They helped us out tremendously and saved our ass in more ways than one, honestly. And they helped us get to Southern Fried last year too, So I mean, we're uber thankful.
No, yeah, everybody up there loved the show. Everybody did.
David,
Even the neglect and abuse y'all gave me, it was still worth it.
yeah, it was all in fun.
Mostly
somebody
abuse,
come up
though.
there like, fuck you, David. But if somebody come up there blowing their chest too hard, we could still kick some ass.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't anything like
It
that.
does suck
but
that it's gone, dude. Like, I mean, Cullman itself, a lot of people went to the store.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
man,
a
like
lot.
that was the mom and pop game store for Cullman.
That was
Yeah.
the fucking hub
Like-
for retro gaming.
Not the other shit store down the road. And I can fucking-
we don't
I can
talk about them.
No,
they ain't
not
a
really.
gaming store.
It sucks
No.
that there's no longer a retro store that I can go in and just browse in my own time and not have a pushy salesman or some
Yeah.
asshole trying to,
Or
tell me this and
some
that.
lady floating
Yeah.
behind the counter acting like you're about to steal her fucking $9
Right.
Sesame Street ABC NES game. Eat a
I actually have that game.
hopefully you didn't pay fucking $9 for it.
Jesus, no. Fucking 2 or 3.
But it sucks losing a thing like that, because you can't go into GameStop and find old shit. You can't God damn, it just sucks. Like there's no way to really get around that.
I'm really going to miss it.
It brought a lot of people around that nobody really knew was there.
Yeah, I
really
mean,
did.
it did. It that was like he said, it was a hub, and it certainly brought a lot of members of the gaming community that weren't connected locally.
I would have met
together.
you without
Yeah, I
Vault.
mean that's how
Right.
we met. You at Vault, I met you
I
at
met
Vault.
both y'all
Yeah.
at Vault.
I
Jason.
met Dave and you guys.
Mark and Lynn, we met just going up there and
Yeah.
bullshitting. They were really cool about letting you come in and hang out. You
Yeah.
didn't have to go in there
Yeah.
like you said. There wasn't a pushy salesman or just some aggravating shit to deal with.
They weren't like,
you
buy a
actually
Nintendo
felt
game or Dr.
comfortable.
Pepper and get the fuck out. No, they were like, enjoy your time here.
Yeah, I mean,
and he wasn't just a guy who ran a store. Like he knows games.
Yeah, Mark.
He knows what he's
Mark's
talking
very,
about.
Very passionate.
That
about
was the whole
games.
concept
Very, very
behind the
passionate.
store. Was like we wanted people to come in and be comfortable, not like, hey, here's your shit, get it and get the fuck out. We wanted people to come in, actually enjoy the time, and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Get to know the people that's actually shopping there and the people that work there. That way, there's no kind of like, well, he's just looking at me fucking weird.
Well, that was one cool thing though, because Mark and Lynn are they're very giving, very kind, and very compassionate people. But that's one of the things I really love about both of them, because if you were a piece of shit turd head and you come in that store being a piece of shit turd head, they will not hesitate to tell you you're overstepping your bounds. Go the
Yeah.
fuck on.
Once
And
in a while,
they're-
you get a
they're-
couple
that-
weirdos in there. Yeah.
I mean,
It happened a lot some days.
I bet you could tell us some stories, couldn't you?
Oh, good
I've
Lord.
been in there for a few of them, But I mean, that's
Yeah,
every
yeah.
every
It's-
place
yeah.
of business. You're
Yeah.
going to have those wacko crazy fucking shoppers come in there.
That's the nature of retail in general, but
Oh, yeah.
especially with games, you always get
it's
those,
like for
like you
every-
talked about last podcast, one of those people that, you know, they think they know everything and they want to kind of, you know, act like they're more knowledgeable than you and treat you like you're a piece of shit, but they don't know what they're talking about.
Man.
Talk
That's
down.
what
Yes,
gets on
yes,
my
talk
nerves.
down.
The whole talking down to you, like I don't
I'm the
know
king
if
of
you know
retro
how
games.
much this game's worth, but it's going for this. And I'm like, motherfucker, you don't know what your game's worth. Like, you're overquoting something $200 fucking here.
Yeah.
That's not a small amount of money
Some of
for a
those-
fucking video game.
Some of those types of people, they don't take condition into consideration.
No.
They may actually that day know what they're talking about and have a rare game, but it's been drugged through the fucking parking lot
Yeah,
by rabid
but-
dogs, and they're like wanting top
Half of your fucking
sealed
labels hanging
dollar
off
for it.
like-
Yeah,
I mean, there's been a few occasions of people coming in and they'll just like, they'll assume you're going to take their shit.
I've been in there for that. Like the people
And-
getting pissed off because you don't want to buy all their fucking shitty football, Xbox 360, and
Well, yeah.
baseball
Well,
games
I mean,
and shit.
but this was really
These
popular
are
when it
worth
came
money.
out. It's
I
Madden
paid-
14.
These were $60 when they come out. I'm like, 5 fucking years ago.
See,
Like,
Yeah, and it's like with us, we were nice to everybody. We always
Oh, yeah.
tried to be
Yeah.
because there's no point being
Definitely
harsh
were.
towards anyone really when it comes down to something like that. But then you got them people that come in and set the stuff on the counter and be like, "You're going to buy my shit." You're not going to talk to me that way. It's like, sorry.
I was present for that one time where that guy said something to Mark along the lines of that. He was just like, "No, you're going to buy my games." Mark's pretty much like, "I don't have to do shit. You can get out of here." Like,
Insane.
it was
People
put in
act like
it was
that.
put in a polite manner, but
oh yeah, definitely. But
Mark's really.
I mean,
nice.
he wouldn't. I'm not saying Mark would say something like that, but that's nice. That's refreshing to see that somebody is just still along the lines of like,
oh yeah,
we don't have to take your bullshit here if we don't want to, because the world we live in right now is too PC and all that bullshit. Like
One
people
thing,
get so butthurt if you tell them that they're wrong, and then once they find
Oh,
out
yeah.
that they're
Yeah.
actually fucking wrong,
yeah.
you rape them with 1,000 knives at that fucking point.
That's the problem with society in general is no one has any humility. They
Yeah.
can't admit they're wrong.
That's true. That's true.
Man, you look like such a big adult when you're like, I guess I fucked up. I wish more people would be able to say, oh, that's my bad. But no, they're like, oh, how dare you say I'm wrong?
Everybody-
And it's a personal to them.
Yeah.
It's not a fact when it is a fact.
That's something
They
I've-
take it personally, like you just don't like the look of their face or something.
Yeah.
It's insane how people behave.
that's something I've always prided myself in and tried to teach my kids. Like, don't be afraid to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's how
Yeah.
you learn. If you don't ever realize you're wrong, you will never learn.
Yeah, and that's a
yeah.
problem.
Oh, that's one thing I can admit. I've screwed up several times, and I've always anything that's ever yielded out of something I fucked up on. I'm been blessed with the fact to be like, I'm a fucking idiot, and I screwed the pooch on that one.
people
I'm
need
sorry.
to learn to say that.
But-
my bad.
Yeah, one thing
messed up.
I miss about Vault is, like, for me, right around when the Dreamcast died is when I went full PC gaming. Like, I didn't touch a console for a full decade, probably. And so I missed out on a lot. So when I finally started getting back into it, I could go in a Vault like, hey, David, I want a decent PS2 game around $10-15, and you could point something out to me. If I went somewhere else, then they'd be like, I don't know.
yeah.
Vault, everybody at Vault actually knew what their store had.
Yeah.
And I mean, from a collector's point of view, most people would bitch about that. But from my point of view, that's great, because them having y'all, like David and Mark and Lynn, them having knowledge, it gets on a personal level with you. It's not like, oh, you want a shooter? Well, this game's a shooter. It's good. Like, they actually decipher what you're into, what you don't like, and break it down to a personal level with you.
Yeah.
You can't fucking do that in a store outside of a mom and pop game store.
Or like I could, when I brought my Commodore VIC-20 there, I was like, how the fuck do we hook this thing up to a TV?
I mean, we sit there and tried, and
Yeah, couldn't do that anywhere else.
You're right
Yeah.
about the personalization of what they knew, what you liked and didn't like. Because there were times I came into Vault Games and Mark would be like, hey, you mentioned this to me before. Check this out that we just got in from our distributor, wherever they bought from. and I was amazed like how much I knew that was a niche game and how much that was tailored to me, and he knew that that's what I liked, and I know it wouldn't really like be a big seller or anything like that, and I would always buy whenever he would suggest something like that because he was spot on because he knew who I was because he took the time to give a shit. He cared. He really cared.
That was
well. Even if you could go in, there, you go in there, and talk to Mark or talk to David. Like you end up talking on a plane of stuff beyond video games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you could go outside, smoke a cigarette, hang out with Mark, and just talk.
Yeah,
dude, he's told me some crazy stories that I would have never heard anywhere else. So I'm just like, that's. I mean. That's cool though, like that exchange on a personal level because you're not going in there like a customer, you're going in there like a fucking friend.
Yeah,
and that makes you spend more money generally.
Yeah,
too. Like,
and it's so much more enjoyable than going to GameStop and you end up talking to the guy working at Shenanigans on Office Space.
Looks like somebody's got a cake. You're spot on about that, Brandon. That is exactly how I feel in GameStop sometimes. That they treat that place like they're an Applebee's employee or something. Yeah. Yeah.
And see, that was kind of the thing we'd do. We would get to know people on a personal basis to a degree about gaming wise, like Chasen was explaining. Because if we seen something come in we knew the person would want, we would pull it.
Oh yeah, that was my deal. Y'all had any Zelda shit come through there? I got a big Zelda collection.
Oh yeah.
It always had my name stickered on it.
Yep. You guys knew I looked for old school beat 'em ups that were like punky and trashy, like Two Crude Dudes for Sega Genesis or Double Dragon, Final Fight.
Did you happen to buy the box Two Crude Dudes?
I missed it. I missed it.
That was the one I traded in.
That was his.
Oh, really?
Indeed.
Oh, that's amazing.
I got it in a box slot and traded it in.
Like when Brandon, I can remember the game when Brandon come in. It was, you bought God Hand.
Oh, that's a really good beat 'em up. It's really weird, but it's a really good
very
beat 'em
quirky
up.
and awesome.
Yeah.
Because he come back, he's like, oh, you got to try this shit.
Didn't they have those like midget bosses? And I know you had that one combo where you could spank somebody. And stuff.
You could spank that guy. They had some.
God Hand was cool.
Some like gay gimp bosses.
Yeah, they were very
some
effeminate.
Big fat demons and stuff. It was just really weird and awesome.
I actually have a Capcom encyclopedia, and I got it, unfortunately, from GameStop. And the encyclopedia literally lists every character that's been in a Capcom game, and just going through the God Hand section of it, like, that was a cool,
God Hand was weird.
Game,
when it came out, like, everyone shit on it.
Gene. Yeah, they did. But it got like a 6 out of 10 in a lot of publications.
Yeah, but then if you look at recently, like, IGN's top 100 games for PlayStation 2, it's on there.
Yeah. They do that with movies too. A lot of critics will not like something, and then it becomes a treasure.
Best example: Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. Blade Runner.
That is a great fucking
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Scarface. Those got crap reviews when they came out, and they're loved films now. But yeah, games. You definitely see that with games too. God Hand and many other.
Yeah, just over a year ago is when we recorded the Mortal Kombat X tournament at Vault.
Yeah.
Episode 9, Vaultality. Go back and...
God, it was that early into our...
It is, very early. Wow. Episode 9, dude.
Was it 9? Oh, I thought it was 11. Close.
It may have been 11.
No, 11 was on when I was on, so it was 9. It
was one of them that Lyle butchered the audio on.
That was definitely my podcast. The first time I appeared.
Because somebody selected the wrong microphone to record with.
Well, it was also fucking episode 9, Dick Rags.
I went back and listened to our earlier stuff, and man, we've come a long way in audio quality.
Alex, my cousin Alex, he listens to all of them. He was complimenting me on that last week when I went to his graduation, or earlier this week actually when I went to it. He was like, y'all have, he was talking about listening to the old ones. He was like, y'all sound like two dumbass hicks at the beginning. He was like, now you sound like esteemed hicks. Now,
that's what we're aiming for.
Very nice. Yeah, that's...
the rule of thumb, I didn't know this, way after we started, but you record like the first 10 or even 20 and just throw them away. That way you learn all the ropes and you come out of the gate with a professional product.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool y'all didn't, though.
You can actually hear the evolution in ours if you want to take that much time to listen.
That's why when we're going to be starting video soon, I'm going to do the same. I want to do that with video. We come out the gate good quality product.
Yeah.
That progression you guys will appreciate, and your fans will like to see the, where you've come from. Because I know, fans of James Rolfe and stuff like watching his, first Castlevania episode 1, Simon's Quest stuff, and when he doesn't even appear, it's just like gameplay footage and voiceover, and that's just kind of a nostalgic thing, because you're going to get nostalgic fans of your podcast that
you're always
go
going to
back
have the
and look at
people
your
that
original
want the
stuff.
older stuff versus the new, but
with anything.
you got to come with that comfortable medium.
Yeah.
I'm excited for making the jump in the video.
Yeah. I don't want to really focus on that after Southern Fried. Like, up till now, hopefully tomorrow my arcade machine will be fucking done, and that's been a hell of a job.
You're still working on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be done tomorrow, and that will be, I'll have free time again instead of soldering every single point on my monitor chassis like I have been the past 12 hours.
Been there. I've made a main cabinet before, but I made it much, much smaller.
I still need to do a whole cat kit and flyback replacement on it, but I don't have it yet, so that'll come later. I just resoldered all my joints and stuff because something was loose.
You have a sexy cabinet. I'm not going to lie.
It's going to be pretty awesome if Josh comes over and finishes the art on it. I'm going to love it.
So it's a full upright standee thing? As a
Yeah, it's going to be main.
2-player, 4-player?
4-player.
Wow, great. Yeah. That's awesome for main, yeah.
Full
So
Godzilla theme.
It's an
because
old
fucking love
existing
Godzilla.
NBA
cool.
Jam Tournament Edition cabinet.
Well, it kind
it?
of. It was the cabinet, like it's an unknown fucking brand cabinet. I've encountered like some traces of it on the internet, but like those traces are people trying to figure out who made these cabinets.
There are some weird ones out there.
It's almost like the 3-comb Z-backs, but it's not. So there's no like real identification.
It's a sharp looking cabinet though.
I like it.
I like the design of it.
But yeah, the guy who had it was a NBA Jam Tournament Edition cabinet, and
Oh, okay.
being an not that it was an original NBA Jam Tournament Edition cabinet, I really don't care about butchering it. Which he already sold the guts out of it anyways when I got it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having arcade cabinet. I'm looking forward to playing Crawl on it. Crawl is fucking awesome.
That's a really cool game on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have that in my library.
Yeah, it's even got the arcade cabinet mode on it, so
Right, yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. I have a Data East RoboCop cabinet, and it's got that weird curved marquee that the Data East had for Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The only other arcade cabinet I can think of that has a weird shape to it is you ever seen the original cabinet for Narc? It's so bizarre. It has like this miniature CRT TV, resting on a shelf, and this weird V cut out. It's like dipped into it. It's like underneath between the controls and the monitor, there's like this weird V space in between it. Like, look it up on KLOV or KLOV.com or whatever, killerlistofvideogames.com, and just take a look at that what a dedicated NARC cabinet looks like. It's got a very odd shape to it, so it is always cool when you get an arcade cabinet and it's from something that's not standardized,
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of strange shaped cabinets out there.
Is there anything we want to say as a last will and testament to Vault? David, anything you want to say? First being that...
I kind of got a question for y'all guys. And
Okay.
It's always been kind of curious. I mean, what was y'all's favorite moments at Vault?
Just getting to come in and hang out and bullshit about video games. There wasn't anywhere else to really do that.
No.
My favorite ones were bringing my console down there and just hooking up TV and just getting...
Being able to sit and play and just...
I like one that stands out to me is playing Shenmue down there because I had to explain to so many people that would come in what I was actually playing. And that's cool because those people hadn't heard of that. And whether you like Shenmue or hate it, I felt like that's one of those games people should at least know about if you want to be into gaming.
Yeah.
That was a big deal for Sega.
It was a big deal as
that's why I bought my Dreamcast initially was Shenmue.
That sold Dreamcast.
That sold me on that shit.
Mm-hmm. I liked Shenmue, and it is dated. It is a very flawed game.
I would like to know where some sailors are at.
yes, those questions, and it really kind of popularized what the QuickTime events and all the BS Taskmaster missions that Grand Theft Auto 3 got popular for on PS2. It's all the, do this and that, and then I will give you this information, and you have to go and use your forklift for some BS. But I still love it. I'm part of the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter. I did back that because I kind of miss that, even though it is dated. It's still, there's fun to be had. My favorite memory of all games is I do think it was just kind of like having a retro gaming family and feeling like I wasn't the one guy in Cullman that cared about retro games, meeting you guys. And especially when I did meet you guys during the MKX tournament, and just being surprised when I found a hidden gem out there on the shelf, and then bringing it to the register and having David and Mark like start chatting me up about it instead of just being like, oh, $14.99, goodbye. Yeah. They were like, oh, this is fantastic, and I remember when I played it, and this and this and that, and then if you like this game, then you'll like this, and just becoming kind of friends with you guys, and David and Mark and even Lynn especially. She was really cool about chatting us up too, and Vault was one of those few retro games that retro gaming stores that just you did feel like they knew what they were talking about because they play games too, and they were really friendly. And even if something was like high dollar on eBay, they gave you fair prices. Like they didn't price it off of, as you talked about last podcast, what it was going for currently on Buy It Now. They went for the appropriate,
sold
what it was.
Listings.
Yes, the sold listings and stuff like that. So even though the N64 original Super Smash Brothers is going for high dollar value, they priced it what it was supposed to be according to video game rankings. They didn't base it off of eBay or some printed video game guide, physical paperback novel from yesteryear. They were current. They were up to date on it, and so you got good deals even when you were buying high dollar retro stuff for Genesis or NES or whatever. And that too, when they stocked the shelves with good retro stuff, it was things that mattered. They had 2600. They even had TG16 for a while. They had TurboGrafx.
Yeah, we had
games.
a few of them.
I picked up a couple of those.
Yeah,
actually, they actually cared. That was the main thing.
I miss being able to go buy a retro game and hear prison stories while I was doing it.
Yeah,
nowhere else where you get that experience.
Yeah, they gave me. I'm not the kind of guy that resells and flips or anything like that. But when I did have a minor pile of retro games to sell to Vault Games, they appreciated it. They were in awe of it. Not that I look for that. I don't care what anybody thinks when I'm selling it. I'm not that kind of guy. Yeah. I'm not like, bow down to my collection. Well, but when they saw it, they were like, oh, that's pretty cool. And they gave me a fair deal.
They were very fair.
Yeah.
That was one thing Mark, I'm super thankful for, because Mark kind of knew what I collected for and what I liked. And if they got something like that, him or David were first to call or text me right then. And, Mark knew what collector knew what, too. He knows, like I said, he knows what you like. So I could carry, if they had a really good game that was a more expensive game I wanted, I could carry one of my more expensive games up there, and Mark would work out a trade where everybody, comes out equal on.
Yeah,
and there's nobody else that will do that shit for you.
And when you were talking about, him calling you and stuff like that, I feel like, I'm sure I'm not going to be as arrogant as to believe I'm the only one, but I feel like I was one of the few people that cared about the Sega Saturn. And so, he hit me up on Facebook and was like, hey, I just got a big shipment of like 12 Sega Saturn games. And I was like, I'll be there tomorrow,
Yeah.
And he let me in. He let me know that, he had Saturn stuff come to the store the few time it did. And I went through the Saturn games and stuff, and he took care of them. He reasonably priced them. He knew about them. He played some of them. It wasn't just like, I got some of this bulk stuff in at a discount, so I'm just going to, here's your game. He was just like, he knew about it. He was there during that
I like
day,
being able to just pay a few bucks and try out a game for an hour.
Yeah,
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He lets you try them out before you buy them. That was super cool. He didn't have to do that. No store really does.
No.
But
No.
Vault did. And that's good that they went the extra mile.
Yeah, I mean, we had
especially with
actually,
retro stuff.
we had took time to actually hook up consoles for people so they could try a game out before they bought it. Because
Yeah.
we didn't want people getting stuck with a shit game. Just
Yeah.
plain and simple, we didn't want them to get stuck with it.
Yeah.
Well, David, what was one of your favorite memories of the entire time you were
The
there?
entire time, the almost 2 years of it. I had a lot of good ones. I would say, like, my favorite thing that come from it is my friends I made. Because a lot of the friends
Same
I've got
here.
now would do just about anything for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ain't got that.
Yeah.
And we're all a bunch of nerds anyway, so, I mean, it's kind of beneficial. We can all talk on the same level.
Yeah.
Vault really, in a way,
Absolutely.
like, united a lot of the Cullman retro gaming community.
Oh, yeah.
I met a lot of the big players. You guys, David Bentley, Casey Johnson. You know,
We also were able
Yeah.
to distinguish from some of the more unsavory people.
Filter them out.
Yeah.
Filtering
And
out the bad guys.
That's a great thing
Yeah.
because, in this hobby and in the video game community, if you're involved, especially the retro gaming community,
Yeah.
there are some snake motherfuckers out there.
the people that will like
They're
try
everywhere.
and capture the multiple copies of Earthbound and flip them, or
17 high gains!
or fake the $high games and stuff like that. You know,
yeah.
20 little Simpsons in my possession. Bull, no crap, you do not. And it was good to kind of have an in on the retro community and know what was real and what was out there or not, or where the good deals were at. It did. It let us not just unite the figureheads of the retro gaming community, the big players of this city, this county, but don't spill that.
No!
But
the reseller approaches again.
but also know what was real when it was out there and what was smoke up someone's ass and stuff like that. So yeah, I do feel that not only do I think that I was having fun at the retro community, but knowing that, hey, I am a big big player of the retro community, not just because I'm having fun with it, not because I wasn't arrogant,
Yeah.
and finding out that the other people weren't too, finding out the real retro players and stuff like that. Like I've built up a friendship, I believe, with you guys,
yeah.
David Bentley, and David here,
Yeah.
with us here.
And that's one thing you really need too if you're going to pursue a hobby like that. Is the community is kind of what pushes an outdated hobby forward constantly into the future. The community is the ones that are inspiring the new retro games to come out. The community is the one pushing for all the these analog NESs and bullshit you see coming out. We're talking about. That's because the want is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, that's something that's really good is when you can actually come together and find people that are like-minded that can, band together and kind of push out the bullshit,
Yes.
to the side. And that was one big thing Vault did. Like you said, it brought a lot of us together. And that's a good thing because as long as fucking Good Ole Gamers goes, whether it goes 10 more years or whether it goes fucking 2 more years or tomorrow, Vault Games is still always going to have that fucking place in our history.
I gotta say
You
that,
know.
that almost never happens, and there's a big retro gaming scene in San Diego. But with them, I feel personally that it's competitive. But with us, it united us as a family because Vault Games was just so friendly.
Yeah, it was a
it
perfect
really made us
fucking
all
central
friends.
ground for all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of the few places you could come into, and whoever's working was not going to be an asshole to you or talk
no.
down to you.
You know,
by no
You
means.
guys had awesome
This is
people
a-
working there.
I know Vault Games was a video game store, and in the beginning y'all had Magic, but the few times I came in there and played cards, I actually enjoyed playing cards there more than at the other card shop, which I'm not going to disparage because they're a good place. Don't get me wrong,
Yes.
it's not hyper competitive.
No.
We're just there shooting the shit, throwing down some cards.
I'm never playing you again.
I'm
I've
the
heard
guy-
a lot of people. I've seen Brandon go through multiple TCGs over the years, and I haven't seen one that anybody wanted to fucking play him out again.
Put it this way.
I remember we used to go to Pokemon. This is a side tangent. We used to go to Pokemon Saturdays at Booksman. My mom would drop, or my grandpa would drop me and Brandon off, or Brandon's dad would drop me and him off there. You would go up there every Saturday, play against other players, get badges, and all that bullshit. I remember literally seeing a child cry and sit outside because Brandon's fucking Charizard Armageddon deck just ruined that little kid's fucking life. I mean, the little kid, he was, doing it granted, right, he was like our age, now, but I remember seeing him sit out there and fucking weep tears of joy, or disdain. And then also, I know another guy that we used to play Pokemon against, and it just completely changed his way of living.
I know who you're talking about. Heard him inside out.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. That's a little bit of an inside out joke. Anyways, it sucks not seeing that now. But all being said and done, Mark and Lynn, if you're listening to this, thank you so fucking much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially Mark and Lynn.
We lost more than a game store.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been taking it kind of hard because it's just like, well, where do I go now to just bullshit about video games without looking like
exactly
a fucking complete loser?
Yeah, I mean, if you just wanted to buy shit, I mean, the internet's there. There's more than that.
Yeah. And
it's that
feels
personal level, man.
Cold and transactional if you do it on Amazon or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
But with them, you felt like you're going in there with friends. And, I wasn't, into trading card games. But seeing just a plethora, a good group of people in there playing Magic or something like that, it just kind of made me happy, even though that was not my scene at all. That was something I'd never stepped foot in. When I saw a big group of people there at the tables, I was just kind of like, okay, it's really chilled and laid back here. I don't have to ask for something behind the case and feel like I'm bargaining or cutting a deal with somebody. I just feel like the atmosphere is real laid back, like a bar with regulars instead of a bar with cutthroats. You know?
Yeah,
so
completely.
It's just that atmosphere. That's rare, and that is kind of almost exclusive to retro shops. So having Vault Games gone, there's just a big vacuum.
There's a hole that isn't filled.
Yeah.
Completely.
Now I'm gonna have to fill that hole with something.
Well,
Filling holes.
we got plenty of things around here to fill holes with.
Right here.
Greasy.
Yep.
Right
Come
here.
on.
Here's the
This
vault.
we are.
Yeah.
Nobody can't see this, but we're holding up our Good Old Gamers Fireball shots. Thank you to Max Force for
No problem.
the alcoholic gifts.
Yep.
Anytime.
And this is for Vault. We're taking a shot for Vault. So, David, I know you're not taking a shot, but this is for you, buddy. And this is
you.
for Mark. And this is
Mark,
for Lynn.
Lynn.
This is for Vault Games. Rest in peace.
Even Heath.
Thank you, Heath.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for what you guys did. We
Yep.
appreciate it more than you'll ever know.
Okay.
May you rest in peace.
The shop.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. That was our farewell to Vault Games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess now we'll jump to topic. We're talking some random games this evening. You want to go ahead with yours?
Yeah.
I think you want me to cue your
Go ahead and load me up some music. there.
music.
One of the few games I fell in love with immediately before I even played it, just because of the music.
We're not doing it live. I really wanted to be like first person to call in and tell me who this band was and name one other popular song they done wins.
Oh, I can't name a popular song, but I know who this is.
I can name one that everybody knows. But we're just not telling. It's Green Jelly.
Yep.
Little pig, let me in. Yep, Green Jelly.
This game is one of the few, I would say, legitimately good games that LJN did.
Okay, I'm trying to hold
Turn
on.
it down some. It's Maximum Carnage.
Sorry.
Specifically the SNES version, but I know the Genesis one's good too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite beat 'em ups of all time. Might not be technically the best beat 'em up, but it was one of my favorites.
Hey, it's the best beat 'em up
'Cause-
to LJN ever released.
True.
By
Yes.
far.
Definitely their best.
Because I've always been a Spider-Man fan, especially Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage. Like those are my three guys. in Marvel.
This literally, in my opinion, was the first great Spider-Man game ever. Period.
Yeah.
It definitely was.
Play Atari 2600 Spider-Man or NES Spider-Man.
God.
I bet you'll agree with me.
No. It's the only good one on the Super Nintendo for sure, too.
Yeah. They even had a sequel that sucked.
Separation Anxiety?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did not like it.
No, I didn't either.
That was a sequel to
No.
Maximum Carnage?
Yep.
Kind of, yeah.
Did not know that.
It had a ton of different symbiotes in it.
Yep.
Shit.
Wow.
Maximum Carnage is based off the, as it's named, Maximum Carnage series in the Spider-Man comics back in the 90s.
By far the most badass Spider-Man villain
Oh, yeah.
in my
Oh,
opinion.
yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
only
guy
who could top Venom was
Yeah.
Carnage.
Was
Yeah.
Cletus Cassidy. Is
Cletus
Carnage's
Cassidy,
name, right?
and then Eddie Brock was Venom.
Yeah.
Those are the best Venom. I don't give a shit. I mean, I like the
No,
new Venom reboot, but
And
Eddie
not that
Brock,
fucking Topher Grace Eddie Brock either.
No.
God damn it.
No, when McFarlane was drawing the comics, when it was Eddie Brock, yeah, when he was stalking Mary Jane and stuff.
My man, Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a Spawn movie in the works, by the way.
I cannot wait.
Me either.
Some good shit.
But yeah, as we mentioned, it's a beat 'em up where you start off the game playing as Spider-Man. A couple levels in, I'll pass. I gotta drive later. Couple levels in, you get to play as Venom, and the difference between Spider-Man and Venom, it's kind of subtle, but it's as you'd expect. Venom is slower but more powerful, and for the most part, I like playing Venom better, just because the punches felt like they were punches, like I was playing a superhero.
The crack, pow, and all the words.
You could hear that
That,
percussion in his hits right in the chest.
Yeah.
Boom.
The controls are basic. You just had like basic punches, a grab, one special move, and then you could also juke a button if you had a power up to summon in other heroes to help you. Trying to think where I was going with that.
You're not allowed to think.
I'm not, because I've been drinking.
One of the few colored cartridges for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, red cartridge.
A sexy red cartridge.
Red cartridge for Maximum Carnage, red cartridge for Doom,
Yep.
black cartridge for Killer Instinct, and is that it? Was there another?
Not that I know of.
Not that I
For
Yeah,
Super
that's
Nintendo,
it.
I think there
That's
was
it.
just 3 colored cartridges.
One of the few flaws I really found of the game, and I don't consider it a major flaw, is there's a lot of repeat enemies. But what made them great was like when you
That's
started
beat 'em ups.
Their
Yeah.
names are
Yeah.
different.
exactly the names
Final fight.
because when you punch somebody, you saw their life bar in the upper right corner, and their name was beside it. And it was just regular names like Sally.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and
you
Joe.
just beat Charles to death.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage had that on the Genesis, but they had like crazy names.
Yeah, it was just, it was odd. Like if you got killed by normal enemies, like Spider-Man has got his ass beat by Joe. Like
yeah. I remember that.
In Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man beats up a hell of a lot of Axles, though,
yeah,
with
He
good
does.
reason.
He also beats up
Yep.
some Girl Scout looking people. Like, they were the bosses of the first level. They were Girl Scouts.
Oh, I fucking forgot about
He
that.
whoops
Yeah.
their
Yes.
monkey asses.
they'll whoop your ass with that hair if you ain't careful.
Yes.
They'll whip their hair around and get you.
They fresh out that Green Jelly concert, got that hair whip down pat, man.
But
By the power of shitty metal.
the overall formula of the game is
better
pretty
drink this.
consistent. There's a few exceptions throughout the game. You go through the level of all the random like hoodlums, and then you get to the boss level. And each time you go to the boss level, other than a couple exceptions, you fight every boss you fought before plus another one. So it gets fucking difficult. It's one of the few games I was proud of beating as a kid.
I've still never beaten
I don't think
Maximum
I have.
Carnage. I don't think I've really invested the time to beat it. But I can single-handedly tell you one level that I'm sure you'll get to. The climbing up with the Spidey sense. Fuck that shit.
I don't mind that level.
It's not that hard, but it's
most
just
people
frustrating.
got to Black Cat. She was on the roof, Black Cat. But when Black Cat came in, yeah, most people, according to the internet, seem to have cut out. They're like, I can't get past that.
You talking about Shriek? Because Black Cat was a good guy.
Right. But,
Yeah.
I mean, when she was added, I don't...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't too far into the game, but yeah.
No, exactly. It's that hard.
that roof level, there's a good strategy to destroying it. There's a water tower at the top of it. Punch the supports out from the water tower. It'll one hit kill a boss if you throw the water tower on them.
Oh, my God. I
And there's
never
a
knew
life
that.
hidden under it, too.
Really?
So you get that water tower.
That's some of that Brandon Gentry witchcraft. Shit.
27 years old, and I've never known that as much as I played that game throughout my childhood.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, like I said, the you can get team ups with just little icons of the hero that you summon. The team ups are Black Cat, Captain America, Cloak and Dagger, Deathlock, Iron Fist, Morbius, and then if you're Spider-Man or Venom, you could also call in Spider-Man or Venom.
Cool.
Eventually, later in the game, they would both of them use a sonic gun. I think Spider-Man's was more powerful because it was Reed Richards' sonic gun. But yeah. And the main bosses of the game was Demo Goblin, who was Hobgoblin plus he's infused with the demon at the time.
I was gonna say he's the only goblin that doesn't wear a mask. He's an
He's an
actual
actual
fucking
goblin.
demon from another dimension.
Yeah, he rides like some hellacious fire beast. Shriek. And Shriek is the reason why you fighting all these random douchebags, because that's her power. She drives everyone fucking insane around her.
Yeah.
Doppelganger.
Bet you she runs a 4K company too.
Yeah. A Doppelganger, which for those who recall is the 6-armed Spider-Man essentially.
Yep.
And then Carrion, and then Carnage.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to butt him. Was Cardiac in this game?
No.
Okay. I must be thinking about another game.
One thing I loved about this game is it had really large sprites in it, and the heroes, the sprites for the heroes really held up to like the comics and the cartoons of that time.
Yeah.
I really love that. And in between the levels, you had like semi-animated comic strips.
Yep.
And that was really awesome. It was a good way to experience that story.
That game really captures a comic book feel.
Yeah,
That's
it
what I
does.
was talking about earlier with like the
They actually had
Clash and POW and all that shit. Like
They actually had a Spider-Man game based off the animated series, and even that didn't do it justice as much as Maximum Carnage did.
Yeah.
So
Y'all are making me think of another game.
Spider-Man Web of Fire. Is that what you're thinking
It's
about?
off subject, no comic
is that the
Zone.
computer
Oh,
game?
Comic Zones.
Comic
32X.
Zone's shit.
Yeah. Oh, that one's rare too.
Yeah, it's really
Very
expensive
rare.
now.
That's one of the top 32X games there as far as monetary value goes.
I sold mine for quite a chunk.
Good.
I hated that fucking game.
It's not a good game, but it's extremely rare.
It just funded some more of my other collection.
There you go.
But yeah, the game largely follows that formula of going fighting the gangsters and then fighting all the fucking bosses you've ever fought before, except for one part. When you're breaking into the Fantastic Four HQ, you fight a giant ass robot in there, and he's one of the harder bosses in the game, in my opinion. Just because you can't fucking damage him for shit hardly, and he's always doing like area based attacks, which you can't see the area that he's doing, and you just kind of got to guess. But one thing that was cool is I don't know of any other beat 'em ups that did this, but you could take a lot of different paths in the game. If you went as Spider-Man at some point, you'd have totally different levels than if you went as Venom. Yeah. And in the game, there's some levels where you could be both Spider-Man or Venom. You just press select and you swap between them. That was actually my strategy for beating Carnage at the end. When you fight Carnage, he's a bastard because he's the end boss. But if you press select, when you swap out between Spider-Man and Venom, you get like a half second to a second of invulnerability. Abuse that shit. Yeah, it's like 25 to 50% armor basically, because you're reducing that much damage by just constantly swapping them in and out.
Yep.
So that was a really great strategy for beating them if you get to that point. But I didn't want to get too deep into it because I knew we were going to be on a lot of tangents tonight.
Have you beaten this game?
I've beat it several times.
You're amazing, man. That game
I
is
love
a
this
son of a
No,
bitch.
I'm not tooting his horn because he's one of my best friends or anything, but since we've been children, Brandon is one of the best fucking gamers I've ever seen because
I've gleaned from
he blows.
podcasts. Yeah,
I learn from his shit.
Well, the only reason I'm good at games,
good, man.
eating games that I'm good at, rather, is it because I'm just like good at them? Is when I love a game, I obsess over it. When
Right.
I'm at work and I'm just going through some bullshit routines.
You're
That's what's
thinking
going through
about
my
that
head.
game.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I ever got good at card games. So I would just sit there and obsess over it. And
Cool.
Well, side tangent, we were talking about Final Fantasy VII earlier. One of the things that made me truly realize Brandon was gifted, I spent several fucking weeks, 3 weeks or so, trying to beat this ghost boss on Final Fantasy VII. No avail, could not beat it. Brandon comes to my house on that weekend, and I'm bitching about it. I'm like, can't beat this fucking boss. He's like, it's a ghost, it's dead, throw a phoenix down on it. I'm like, what? And he's like, throw a phoenix down on it, it'll kill it. throw it on it, it
remember.
fucking
Yeah.
kills it, and I'm just like, fuck you. I'm not even playing Final Fantasy 7 anymore.
Okay,
But
cool.
that
Yeah.
was one thing that really cued me in on him.
Nice, Brandon.
I never even played Final Fantasy 7 until it got its PC release years later.
See, and it would be some
Oh,
shit
really?
like that.
Yeah,
Wow.
Ass hattery.
because I never owned a PlayStation till Game Fest was my first time I owned a PlayStation. I gave it
Really?
away. Yeah.
That's amazing. You really are gifted.
Well, it's just RPGs, you know.
I would just imagine you're about, well, it just comes to me.
No, it's just RPGs is one of the things that like I would just obsess over to. I mean, I'd argue to my detriment that, you know, I could have been obsessing over things that earn me more money in life or something. But in
I think
fact,
we all could. Any retro
Oh,
game
yeah.
could. Yeah.
That struggle is unanimous
Yes.
amongst
Yeah.
everyone.
Yes. Yes.
yeah, I know, I'll be talking to people and like, oh, you know a lot about this subject. I'm like, yeah, too bad I don't know nothing useful, you know?
Same here. My brain is filled with like.
If I only knew more about thermodynamics.
but I don't know anything that could like help me in life. Gotcha.
But I can tell you how to beat the fuck out of Castle 3 on Mario within like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I can tell you glitches on Mario 64 you still can't find on the internet.
Oh, that's amazing.
I play the fuck out of that
Sweet.
game.
Yeah, I remember
I
that
love
too.
that game.
You had 100% complete
Oh, yeah.
on 64, right?
I did that several times.
Damn.
Never been able to.
That's a hell of a game.
That's a feat.
Well,
Yeah.
the only really hard level to me on that was the rainbow level, where you rode the carpet across the rainbow, and you'd have the one where you had to get the
Oh my God.
all the
I know what you're
the
talking
red
about.
coins.
Yeah.
That was the hardest star to get. But other than that,
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, Maximum Carnage, great SNES game. I don't think it's too much, is it?
No,
I haven't
it's
priced
probably like a $15, $20 game.
Yeah.
It's,
It's
absolutely
worth
affordable as far as loose copies go.
If you like
Yeah.
Spider-Man and you're a retro gamer, you got to check.
If you
this
love
game out.
beat 'em
Yes.
ups
Yeah.
in general, man,
Yes.
like this is one of the finer ones.
Like I said, I've
Take
always
it from me, as much as what's his name that calls himself the Pokemon Clan Master? Who's that?
Steve
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 Stevenson.
Stevenson. I thought that was Steve Stevenson. Okay. As much as he prides himself as that, I am the beat 'em up guy. And I
Beat 'em
gotta
up
say, as the beat 'em up master, check out Maximum Carnage.
The game I'm going to talk about may have not held up in time as well as you think it has.
It has not, but it's still good.
It's still fun. I'm talking about ye old Mario Paint tonight because I found my mouse pad and mouse the other day and I broke it out and played it for about 3 hours.
I have a sealed copy that I opened recently, and I give that the Max Force 357 seal of approval. If
Wait a
that
minute,
means
what,
anything.
say what you just said again.
I have a sealed copy that I've recently opened, and I give it the. Fuck. I knew you were gonna do that. I know. I opened it. I know. But it really doesn't go that.
I'm just playing.
for that much. On
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, and I know I opened it sealed recently, but I have played it many times before that, and it's so worth it.
Mario, one of the things that I favor most about Mario Paint is being able to manipulate the fucking title letters of Mario Paint.
Yeah.
Waiting on Mario to get underneath the A and just going, fuck you. Click the A and he's like, "Bow."
Okay, do you guys know about Totaka Song?
You fucking
Absolutely
lost
not.
Me.
You know about
Don't know
Totaka
about
Song?
the fucking thing.
No.
Totaka Song. Totaka Song is an Easter egg within a lot of Nintendo games. Damn it! I can't remember the guy's first name. It's heavily Japanese, and I'm not a Japanese speaker. His last name is Totaka.
We're all good here.
I think his first name is Kasumi. Kasumi Totaka. That could be wrong. That may be a
sounds vaguely
female thing.
familiar, though.
Totaka is definitely his last name. Totaka programmed music for a lot of Nintendo games, like good staples. I'm talking like Wave Race 64, Wii Sports, Pac-In for the Wii and stuff like that. The first big thing that he was part of, aside from X on the Game Boy, which is a Japanese exclusive, was Mario Paint for the Super Nintendo for all regions of the world. And he put this little few notes of music called Totaka songs in all these games he's programmed in as an Easter egg. And to this day, some people are looking for Totaka song in some games that haven't surfaced. And they found it in a few, like Mario Paint. And I believe it's when you bomb everything and you hit
with the O in Mario Paint, and it just goes bloop, bloop, boom, 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 something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a few beers in, ladies and gentlemen.
It's okay.
Anyways,
We keep it classy around at the Good Old Gamers podcast.
right. And you can find that little tune in a few of the games that he's done music for. And Mario Paint was the first one that he did it for and that people found. Like Easter egg hunters and stuff like that. But if you fucked around again with clicking on some of the letters of Mario Paint, you would get a different song. And it's not ever talked about. And I'm trying to get people to discuss it or figure out what the fuck's going on here, but no, it's not the one that's the Totaka song. So I'm thinking it's a Easter egg that's exclusive to Mario Paint, and from what I can tell from my research, it is. But when you either regularly start Mario Paint by clicking on Mario, or if you do fuck around with some of the letters, you get those weird people doing gymnastics, those stick figures, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like dun, ba, dun, ba. It's like those triumphant tune, and the Mario Paint starts. If you fuck around with some of the letters, and I'm not talking about Totaka's song for all you Easter egg hunters out there, there's actually a different song that's also an Easter egg. And I don't know how to do it, but I've done it before many times, and I can't figure out what it is that triggers it. And Mario Paint fans will know what I'm talking about. But you fuck around with those letters a little bit, instead of that little triumphant tune, you get like something tribal. It sounds like they toured, and I'm not to be racist here, like it sounds like an African tribe.
Like jungle drum.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And if you fuck around with the letters a bit, it's not Totaka's song, but it's another Easter egg song. And instead of the dun dun dun, when you start Mario Paint, it's hey to 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 hey to to
Yes,
Mario Paint. Oh, it's all these like foreign guys and stuff, and then Mario Paint starts. And so it's like another Easter egg, but it's exclusive to Mario Paint. It's a different song that is created by Totaka, but it's not Totaka's song. And yeah, so Lyle, you know what I'm talking about there.
I have heard that before.
There's this different
There's other
Easter
ways
egg
than the
music in
intro
Mario
scene,
Paint.
though, to trigger that as well.
But I can't figure out what the only thing is that triggers it. But if you do fuck around with the letters, aside from getting Totaka's song or the regular Triumphant Fanfare song to start Mario Paint, there's again, some kind of ethnic African tribe.
Yeah.
And they even say Mario Paint, and they're like their accent, their local accent. And then there's all this cheering and stuff going on. What is that? What the fuck? What's the story behind that? Did the Mario Paint crew vacation in Africa or
There's
something?
a lot of what the fuck moments in Mario Paint.
True.
One of mine is
True, there are.
you make a
Mario
game
Paint's a
that's
weird game.
It's creatively driven. One of my favorite things was back in the day in Nintendo Power, they released the grids where you could draw, NES sprites, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I would make videos of Link. I remember making tons of the little tile blocks and making Link and Octoroks and shit, and just making the simple animation, where it does the weird, you click and draw. It's like a little fish looking pointer thing, and you draw the trail.
Yes.
And, making Zelda animations constantly. What the fuck's up with the fly game? Which is absolutely my favorite part of Mario
and
Paint,
the little
honestly.
symbol in the second menu is the little coffee cup, and I guess it's the coffee break from you being creative in Mario Paint. And it's to get you... I mean, the whole game is to get you used to the SNES mouse and mouses in general, because Windows 95 was new.
That was a breakthrough at the time, using a mouse.
Right. You no longer had to put in DOS commands on the computer, string of things to launch a game and to install a game. You had a user interface, you had a desktop, you had icons to click on. I know this is very ordinary now. GUIs, yes. User interfaces and stuff like that. But... I know for you young people and millennials out there, clicking on shit was new at this time. And that's the whole point of Mario Paint. It wasn't to give you guys an MS Paint knockoff. It was to let you guys be familiarized with a mouse with your computer. But on a Super Nintendo, because, Nintendo wasn't in the business of making computers. And so, yeah, I guess the thing to really make you agile with a mouse was the coffee break. And a lot of people don't know, I guess, unless you have the manual or unless you guys are Nintendo aficionados, but the game itself was called Nat Attack,
where you clicked
Yes.
with the fly swatter, which was your cursor, your mouse, your arrow, or whatever, on the little gnats to kill them throughout the game. But that was the point of Mario Paint in general, was to just get used to the mouse. And I know I'm such a motherfucking bastard, bumming cigarettes and shit.
I do want to say, if there's one
Yeah,
thing,
that was a cool, weird mini game, was to kill gnats instead of creating pictures, and that was arguably amongst some people that play Mario Paint the best part.
I want to say, if there's one skill that makes you feel good about being old, is knowing DOS.
Yes,
When some
I
young
still
guy
remember them.
encounters
I still
DOS
remember all the
and their
DOS
eyes
commands.
glaze over, like, I got this shit.
MS-DOS approaches.
yes. And even
Hope
if
you're
you
leveled up,
and even if
motherfucker.
you young people are out there using the DOSBox emulator to run some games, then actually you do know what we're talking about there. And if you guys are running, not Wolfenstein on Steam or anything like that, if you are playing it through DOSBox, you are using DOS commands, how you're having to mount your drive and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And running
Actually,
the program.
use
to do
that at work.
You're using DOS.
I
All
actually
those
got to
weird
use it at
commands.
work a few months ago. We had an old mill die on the hard drive died on it, and it was DOS based. And so I was like, they were going to pay someone thousands of dollars to come here and fix. I'm like, it's DOS, man. Just give me a floppy disk and I'll get it.
Right. As high tech as my company is, my company will remain unnamed. Because of the controversial topics we talk about on this podcast.
Indeed. Such as cuckolding.
Cuckolding, yes. Cuckolding. Which is the reason why I cannot access this podcast on my work computers. It got flagged in the filter. Cuckolding. When I went to Germany, some of the computers I used over there were on DOS and stuff like that. And you had those big ass 3.5 inch, 3.5 inches, the smaller ones, but the 8.5 inch floppies, the ones that were actually floppy.
Yeah.
If you wiggled them in your hand and shit. They ran on DOS and stuff like that. It's good to know DOS commands, and even if you are working at McDonald's and you have no business messing with computers at your work site, and you're just playing on the computer, let me tell you, DOS commands are still something you should learn, because they can help you a lot.
Even if
fixing
you never
your computer if you have a virus, or
even if you never
want to play
touch
an
it,
old game.
if you never touch a machine ran by DOS, command prompt is still very much the same as DOS.
And that command prompt is still built into a lot of Windows computers. Just hit your little Windows button and search prompt, type CMD. Yeah, and you get a little black screen, and then you can enter in DOS commands. And if you want to know some DOS commands, just look them up on Wikipedia or Google them. It can help you a lot with your computer, trust me.
If you have no clue what the fuck you're doing with the programs you're messing with, just type in the program file name and !.
Yes. yes. Totally.
I guess that's all from Mario Paint.
Yeah, we talked 5 minutes out of an hour from Mario Paint.
You can tell we're drinking tonight.
Yeah.
I hope, Mario Paint was just not an awesome, Nintendo answer to MS Paint. It had a animation feature where you can animate the sprites that you either stamped or hand-drawn into your Mario Paint pictures. It had a coloring book feature where if you weren't creative, you could just paint buckets in the colors to the different sections on a pre-drawn template. You could create music, and I'm not talking simplistic MIDI file music, even though it was MIDI based. You could create some pretty intricate songs through their music editor if you are musically inclined. Even their examples, if you just hit them in Mario Paint on the cartridge, are pretty awesome for what they pre-built into the system. Music, coloring book, animation. That's pretty much it.
I
will say
stuff. Yeah.
Go ahead.
We were talking about music on Mario Paint. The one thing that always unnerved me is the little face that you could put on the Mario Paint music scale. Like
the thing that sounded like an orgasm.
Yeah. Well, that segues great to what I was about to talk about.
I'm not kidding. I was an old school pervert. I'm still an old school pervert. I drew a dick ramming in and out of a vagina with the animation editor on the thing, and I used, when you could put music into your preloaded thing, used that face template that sounded like an orgasm. So when the dick was going in and out, it was all like
See, that's again
Amazing.
You can make shitty hand-drawn MS Paint porn in Mario
That's exactly
Paint.
what I was about to talk about.
Oh, there you go.
It was
not the only one.
It was my first source of readily available porn, besides beneath my
Yes.
dad's mattress.
I'm not
I could
alone in
I
this.
could draw my own porn and animate it.
Thank you, Brandon, for backing me up on that.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus
Oh, I remember
Christ.
the porn you used to draw when we were in like second, third grade. God damn, that was amazing.
Mario Paint is awesome. It's super cheap.
Mario
Please
Taint.
grab you a copy if you even on eBay it's cheap. You gotta. It's a fantastic Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Mario Taint. I guess since we're done talking about that it's time for us to get a little hot and steamy.
Oh, baby. I'm gonna butter your bread.
I'm gonna make this one a bit of a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Because we've gone on quite a while. We're pretty
You
deep.
felt it.
We're pretty deep into this episode, aren't we?
We're about 2 hours and 17 minutes deep.
Yeah, I'll make this one quick. This week's hot and steamy Road Redemption. You played Road Redemption yet?
I'm actually signed up for that Kickstarter. I've got a high tier. I've been alpha and beta testing it through the beginning. Yeah.
Okay.
Road Redemption supporter here.
It's the spiritual successor to Road Rash, and
First Kickstarter ever backed.
sweet. Yeah, it's pretty much a modern take on Road Rash. The graphics, while they're lacking in texture still, but it's early access, so you gotta view it for what it is.
Yeah.
They look good though. If you just look past the textures, the graphics themselves, the polygons, they look good. Everything looks real smooth, real nice. Everything plays good. The controls on it really good. For those who don't know what Road Rash is, it is a motorcycle game where
Kill
you
yourself.
beat the fuck out of all your opponents.
Before you get cautious, Road Rash fans, on the Kickstarter itself, Road Rash project lead of Road Rash 1, 2, and 3 said that Road Redemption is fantastic and everybody should back it. Coming from the guy who was behind Road Rash 1, 2, and 3. If he's backing Road Redemption is something to pay attention to for Road Rash fans.
One good thing about the game, it's got a huge variety of weapons. I mean, you can get C4 and stick it on other people's motorcycles, pipes,
Yes,
axes.
that's my favorite
machete-
weapon.
Yeah, C4. I love C4 because you can take out so many motorcycles.
Oh, you so can, yeah.
There's even guns, but I'm not a big fan of the guns. But shooting straight forward is okay, but you start aiming to the sides, it don't really work.
They're still working on it, and
Yeah.
and someone who's been there from the beginning with each patch release, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
It'll get more accurate. I'm sure it'll be fine when it is released.
Well, I see my main problem with the guns. You can shooting forward, fine. Left and right, I'm also trying to go forward on a motorcycle like 100 miles an hour.
It's fast.
But yeah, it's all kinds of crazy costumes in the game. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many there are. I know there's like a fucking crazy biker Santa and some other shit.
Nice.
Oh,
Shovel
yeah.
Knight was one, I believe.
Yeah.
Because the shovel's a weapon in the game, so they had to do Shovel Knight.
Kind of damn cool.
Dude, I would love to ride a motorcycle and beat somebody with a shovel at the same time.
Oh, it's a great shovel's a great weapon because it's so fucking long. It's got hell of a reach on
I
it.
just
Until-
imagine some shitty B-movie scene where some dude on a motorcycle comes up and just like slings a shovel and it just cuts the whole fucking top half of somebody's head off.
Well, for somebody who's played the alpha and beta, and from the trailer itself, the trailer is true. You really can fly off of a ramp, and then if somebody's getting neck and neck with you in the midair, you can hit them in the neck with the fucking katana and sever their fucking throat.
Oh,
It's
motherfucker.
so goddamn cool.
Hell
Please
yes.
get this game early access.
Hell yes.
It's awesome.
It's also got great local multiplayer. I've seen people bitching about lack of online, but fuck that. I don't even give a shit if it ever gets online.
Get local.
It's a local
Agreed.
game you play.
Yes.
Land it up.
No, it's just local. Like
Oh.
split screen, 4 people.
And you don't have to be on PC or Steam. They swear it's coming out on like Wii U and 360 even,
But yeah, up to 4 players, local call. One thing that's kind of weird right now, and I imagine they're fleshing it out, is the campaign/mission mode.
Mm-hmm.
You go every level is like another objective, like either be first in the race or kill 8 people or something like that.
Yeah.
But it comes with this weird like character advancement system. I'm like, it really doesn't feel like it has a place in this type of game. It should be a lot simpler because I mean it's the type of game you just want to jump in, wreck some shit, and then jump off. Because like you do missions, you get cash, which you can buy power ups. You get experience, which gets you permanent power ups for your character. And I'm like, I mean, it's kind of okay, but I'd really prefer just none of that. Just give me money where I can buy new motorcycles. That's it. That's what you did in Road Rash. That's all I need in this game.
Yeah.
But I guess it's one of the things you can kind of ignore it if you want to. Just dump some cash into the things that you know is going to benefit you and then ignore it. So it's not a huge detractor from it. Besides the campaign mode, it's also got a quick race mode, so you can just jump in and do a race like I was talking about. So you can kind of just ignore it altogether. But overall, Road Redemption, very hot and steamy. Pick it up.
Yes.
So it's good in your opinion.
Yes.
Yes.
It's bonerific.
That was perfect timing.
Gives me a bonus.
I really think it's going to shape up to be a really great game. I'm looking forward to it.
I've been
Nice.
following it from day one. I completely agree. You throw down your money on that early access. Road Redemption's solid.
Very
Really solid.
nice. We want to get on to the question of the week with the calls and such.
Yeah. Why don't you pull up the old book of faces? We didn't get much this week because Facebook fucked us.
Facebook is really good at fucking us.
Sometimes Facebook is a finicky bitch. Sometimes everybody in the fucking world will see what you
Sometimes
post.
415 people your post reach, and sometimes 4.15 people your post reach.
0.15.
Well, a really small midget saw it.
Brandon, we don't use the term midget.
I use the term midget. What are they going to do? They're midgets.
I just kick them for their potions so that I can fight Death Adder at the end. At that campfire.
Very well spoken.
Yeah, like I posted this earlier yesterday, and only 67 people saw it because Facebook.
I shared the same thing. I didn't have any responses.
We got one response and a call. Jeffrey Hargrave. Well, first we should read our fucking question, I guess. I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Possibly.
The question that we gave y'all last week was, what sets retro games apart from modern games, and what makes them more fun to you? Jeffrey Hargrove says, definitely difficulty in how non-linear they were. Games these days hold your hand too much, other than Dark Souls. Well, I would have to say, I think games back then were more linear, but I think I know what you're driving at. They didn't.
The difficulty factor was still way up on.
They didn't
the
tell you
challenge
what
factor.
they didn't.
Totally. Yeah.
They didn't tell you what to do at every corner of the game like they do now.
Do you remember ever there being tutorials in something like Super Metroid? No.
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 No, you got through to the wolves.
Either you
Absolutely.
had the you had
Exactly
the
Friends of the
manual
Wolves.
or you didn't.
Yeah.
Nintendo man was very cryptic about that shit back in the day
God,
because
yes.
like Castlevania
I was
2,
gonna say
Simon's Quest,
Castlevania,
like
yeah.
you would have never known about the fucking tornado that comes and carries you off and shit.
Yeah, you
all
gotta
that
have some,
kind of
like,
cryptic shit.
Oak
Like even like
Stick or something like that.
Star Tropics, like if you didn't have the map you used the lemon juice on Star Tropics and didn't know what you're playing, you're fucked.
You had to have the physical
Period.
manual out of the box and wet it under your faucet at home till you find out that one part of the game. You know what I'm talking about? You had to wet the manual.
I have it loose, and that's why I still have it beating that fucking game. We do have a call.
Yeah, we
Our
do.
good buddy Bill.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
Just I want to say that
You're-
Bill's a good fan.
You'll be getting
fan
your
of
lame
ours,
game of
so
the week in the mail any day now. So
Here's Bill's call.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bill. I just wanted to answer the question. As far as why I love retro gaming more than gaming nowadays, is one of the biggest things is, to have a multiplayer game, you don't sit and hide behind an anonymous name now. Then you did it. Now you do. Back then, if you wanted to have a multiplayer game, you actually sat on
Get
the
your
floor
buddies
with
over.
your boys. You played games, chips everywhere, Mountain Dew everywhere, and so on. But that's one of the biggest beefs I have with gaming nowadays. I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong, but there's something about the nostalgia factor of doing that, having those game all night sleepovers, stuff like that. Things like that don't happen anymore. It's all multiplayer nonsense. It's all hiding behind this anonymous name. You get no real social interaction. But that's one of my biggest beefs. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Dude, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I say this, and our listeners might not like me saying this, but I had a recent experience like this because we couldn't figure out how to set the server up due to whatever issues. Fucking Minecraft. My buddy Josh has been coming over. We've been playing local Minecraft. I fucking enjoy that. It makes me think about somebody coming over and playing Nintendo again, And it is fucking Minecraft. Whatever.
Minecraft's good.
I like it. I catch a lot of flack for fucking liking Minecraft.
Most people who give a shit about it haven't played it.
Yeah,
I think that's why I catch flack, though, is because I always bitch about these popular games I don't like. And I'm like, I actually enjoy Minecraft. I like sandbox games. I like games where I can create and do whatever the fuck I want to.
Because it is good. Just because a lot of little kids like it don't make it bad. It just means it's accessible.
I'm just getting at, I catch a lot of flack, and me and Josh, Josh physically, I have Minecraft Realms so we can play online, but he physically brought his computer over, set it right there, and we sat here and played. You don't fucking, you don't do that anymore, and I miss that. Because that's one of my favorite things. Your parents back in the day are like, oh, you can go watch a movie, or you can go stay at your grandparents this weekend, or you can just stay at home and have a friend come over. We'll buy you a pizza and rent you a game. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Right.
I'm 30 years old. I can't just readily call them, hey, Brandon, leave your wife and children and come over here and let's play fucking video games, or let me come over and impose on your wife and children and play video games. You can't do that anymore,
No.
So when you do get to do it, whether you're playing fucking Minecraft or whether you're playing fucking television or Turbo, whatever,
Yeah,
that I agree with Bill completely. That's one thing I fucking miss. It's just
local couch co-op.
Yeah, it's fine to play online multiplayer, but it's so much better when your buddy's sitting here fucking beside you playing it,
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it for our questions. Thank you for the call, Bill. We need a new question.
We also need a winner for our game. It's only 2 to choose from. Flip the bottle cap.
Flip the cap.
Heads, Lynn gets it. Tails, Bill gets another game.
Shit, my drunk ass can't even flip it.
Tails.
All right, Bill, you got you another game.
Shit, Bill.
Been mailing you something
Racking
else.
up.
Yeah.
What we
2-time champ.
What we mailing this week? We mailing.
What we got?
We got NBA Jam on Super Famicom, and we got Jim Power on Super Nintendo.
Send him Jim Power. I don't know if he's got a Famicom.
Yeah, you gotta do all that headache. Okay, you got Jim Power coming your way, Bill.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Your input. See, take advice from fucking Bill. All you gotta do is answer a goddamn question, and you can win a free game.
Yeah.
You didn't do shit, so guess what? Bill's got 2 games, and you got a handful of not shit. Congratulations on being a fucking loser. Pull the Salzburg out, put it in your mouth, click the trigger.
We need a new question.
Yes, we do.
You want to hit the ye old pause button?
The ye old pause button, since it's customary for a guest to come up with the question. Chasen, give us our question.
Yep.
All right, my question for the week is what game series really let you down that was based off of a franchise? Which games were originally based off of a movie, comic, cartoon, TV show, whatever? As long as it was not originally a video game series. What really let you down
External
as a fan
series.
of a comic book or a movie or something?
Oh, I got such a concrete answer for this right now.
I do too.
But we will reveal it next week.
I was a big fan of some things, and then when video games came out for it, I got burnt buying those video games.
I mean, how does that truly make you feel, though, knowing that a video game ruins something for you? The thing that we like more than anything still has that ability to just shit all over you. Sucks.
Yep.
Absolutely. I have 2 indie box. I have another one on the way to me in the mail. They just sent me an email today saying it's shipped for Dust and Elysian Tale. A big on 360 and PlayStation 3 and PS4.
Nice. Yes.
So the winner of the question of the week this week will not be getting one of your guys's retro lame games. It'll be Dust and Elysian Tale from Indie Box.
Oh shit!
So you guys really better fucking call
That's
Good
Bill.
Old Gamer podcast number this time. You know what will happen if you don't. Vagina's turning to stone and
We will
whatnot.
play that clip for you next. So actually, while we're at it, just real quick, just so you know, if you call our number, you answer our questions, you could win some free games.
Yep.
And
That's what happens when Max forces the sponsor now.
that's good. This is what you need to do, and this is the number you need to call.
682-777 good. Dial the number, you know you should. Leave us a message, you know it gives us one.
Hardwood.
682-777 good. Yeah.
You heard it right there. 682-777 good. That's all you gotta do.
Physical PC boxed sealed edition
Good
of
stuff.
Dust, guys. Come on.
Answer that fucking question. You know you should. Gives us wood. That's all that matters. Well, we're winding to the end of this shit.
It's been a long one.
It has been a long one.
Has.
A very long one. We're at 3 hours right now.
Holy crap.
So-
3 hours.
Enjoy it. Anywho, check us out at goodoldgamers.com. You can reach us as always at our Facebook, Good Old Gamers Podcast. On Twitter, Good Old Gamers, Stitcher, iTunes, all that shit. You know the drill. We're on all that. YouTube, all that bullshit.
Subscribe to us on Google Play. Keep us number one.
Google Play, we're number one. Keep us there.
Yep.
Fucking do it. If you don't do it, then fuck you. That's all. That's all there is to say. Well, you guys know the last words we say on the show, right?
Absolutely.
David, you look a little confused there. God damn it!
I'm fucking tired too.
I'm pretty sure everybody.
They remember now that you reminded them.
If you don't remember now, God damn it, you'll end tonight. Anyway,
It will be your game over.
Yeah, it will be your game over,
Big time.
man. Anywho, check us out and all that shit. And as you know how we say, Chasen and David, sign us off.
In the words of Bill Paxton, game over,
Game
man.
over, man.
Game over.
Game over.
It might be better if I can find the outro.
Please don't go. The drones need you. They look up to you.